In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a diagnostic assessment. So the diagnostic assessment is essentially part of an informal assessment, testing you on your knowledge before you actually enter the topic itself. So asking you a series of questions to understand your level of competency around that. Once you've then answered those questions, you will either mark as content viewed if you know the answer to that particular question, if you know that particular subject area. If you don't, you will then need to go through and watch that. So essentially this is saving you some time. So actually diagnosing what you do, what you don't know, what you should watch, as opposed to what you stuff that you already know. So in order to create this, you need to set up your topic. So I've already created mine, and mine's called How to Make the Best Pancakes. And I'm just going to run you through the settings for this. So as you can see, I've already added, created the topic, added the chapter, and then added 2 pieces of content, very fitting to my subject title. Once I've added all my content in there, click Save, and then go along to Settings. Now this one's really important because the diagnostic isn't always set, it's not ticked automatically. So when we're doing this, we just need to remember to click Diagnostic and Informal. If you don't have the informal ticked, once you've gone through the series of diagnostic questions before, then the informal questions of the ticks or test yourself again, they won't show up in that content. So it's just giving you, an indication as to what you do and don't know. So once you've highlighted those 2, click Save again, and then we're going across to the assessment. So this is where you create your questions, question creator. Once you've done that, it adds them into the question bank. So as you can see for my questions, I've got the question there, and then I've got all of my answered, and I've chosen one correct. Now to attach my questions to my content, I can either drag and drop them onto each specific piece of content. I've actually created a question set for each of those, and I'll go on to explain that in the next page as to what this relates to, and show you how it works. So one thing to remember is to make sure that you've got informal on the drop down, and then I've added my questions in there. So once I've got that, click Save, and then go across to assessment settings. So on the side you will see you've got diagnostic. The top parts here are up to you guys if you want to enable these. I'm going to show mine as percentage. I've gone for 80%, and I don't want to skip the results page. I want to see that. So this bottom section here relates to the question sets that I've created. So I've created 2 question sets, one for each piece of my content. So if you don't have the question sets, you can ignore this bit and you keep that as no. If you have this enabled, then tick yes. Now, what this means is where it says required correct questions number. So within that set, I have 3 questions. If I'm going to put 1, I need to get at least one of those questions correct in order for that piece of content to be marked as viewed, or as in I know that piece of content, or I know that knowledge already. Within that set of 3 questions, the maximum number of questions I'm going to get asked is 2. So there's 3 questions, I'm going to get asked a maximum of 2, and out of those 2 questions, I have to get 1 correct in order to be marked as correct or viewed. If I answer the first question incorrectly, it will take me onto the second question. If I get them both wrong, it will mark as I don't know this or incorrect. If I get the first question right, it won't ask me the second one. So that's how these ones work. Select questions in a random order. So within the set, it's going to select them randomly. So out of the 3 questions, I'm going to get asked question 1 and 3. On the first go, on a second go, I might get, or someone else might get questions 2 and 1 in no particular order. And then we've got select question sets in random order. So we've got 2 question sets. It's not always going to be the first question set that gets asked before the second one. So it's going to be different every time. So then I click Save. And then when I go to my pancakes topic, I'm now ready to take this. So this is the first time I've clicked onto the topic, and I'm going to be asked a series of questions. So, yes. Okay, so back to the topic. I've answered both of those correctly. So that means for both pieces of content, I know that piece of content, I know the recipe off by heart, and I know all the answers associated around this. So I probably made that a little bit easy for myself, and I ticked the questions that I did actually know the answers to. Had I not, it would have taken me on to the next question and then showed me what I got wrong in the results page. So I hope that's easier to understand. Give it a go for yourself. If you've got any questions, then just give me a shout.